Right, I'll do one now. I'll do an intro where I don't say that'll do afterwards. Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com, here with my excellent guest editor because Hobo Joe is busy preparing for WCPW. Richard, you've just suggested that I never do an intro and afterwards go, that'll do. I'm going to do one right now. Welcome to your favourite weekly news roundup show in the online wrestling community. This is the Fast Count. First, let's start things off with all of this week's WWE news. Now, first up, you may have seen our story on this yesterday. Brock Lesnar could well be returning to the UFC, and there are also separate but interconnected rumours that he could be leaving WWE after his contract expires after WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. There are various factors at play here. Brock Lesnar is of course currently suspended in MMA, a suspension that has been frozen since he retired after his last fight with Mark Hunt, where he was successful, but he got busted for banned substances after the fight itself. If Lesnar unretires from MMA, his suspension will carry on from the moment that it stopped. Do you know how long it was?
The suspension?
Yeah.
A year?
A year?
I think so.
And how much of it has he done? Is it just a whole year? I think it's a few months. But basically, if Lesnar does that, he's got a bit of time to wait around for it. If he announced it while under WWE contract, you have to assume that WWE would be savvy enough to book an exit angle for him within that allotted time period. But they've also got to take into account the amount of time Lesnar would need a training camp with no risk of injuries, which of course means no wrestling. So there are lots of factors at play here. From the UFC side of things, they've announced via a spokesperson that Lesnar has not even inquired about entering the drug testing pool, which he'd need to do, of course, to get back into and they said the cage, the octagon. Yeah? Richard?
Yeah.
Cool. Richard knows about MMA and that. Potential opponents that have been named by Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer newsletter include Alistair Overeem, who beat Lesnar. Yeah? Was he the one who kicked him in his belly?
Yes.
And Lesnar was like, oh no mate, yeah.
Yeah, diverticulitis, yeah.
Stipe Miocic, who hasn't fought him yet.
No.
And Cain Velasquez, who made him do a crazy dance en route to victory. Cain's victory, not Lesnar's. Who is the most indestructible man in wrestling? Is it Goldberg? Is it Kevin Nash? No, I don't know why I said that. Who is the most indestructible man in wrestling? Is it Goldberg? Is it Lesnar, is what I was going to say. Is it John Cena? No, it's Shane McMahon. He survived a fucking helicopter crash. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Mate.
It's unbelievable.
Shane is a boss. Well, the pilot's a boss as well. Mario apparently is his name. Well done, Mario, and well done, Shane, for giving such a composed news interview afterwards. Shane was in a helicopter which was forced to crash land on water. It was designed to land on water, but it was still classified as a crash landing off Gilgo Beach in New York. Shane's a bot. The joke on Twitter has been like, this isn't even the craziest bump Shane's ever taken, which is true. But he gives such a composed news interview afterwards. He was like saying, yeah, Mario stayed calm, that kept me very calm, and we just saw it through and we were rescued by some very kind people. The reporter goes, excuse me, sorry, are you Vincent McMahon's son? And he goes, I am, yes. And you hear her go, oh, someone just asked me to ask that. It's just like, Shane is, he's never gonna die. He's like a cockroach. There'll be a nuclear apocalypse. He'll still be there, dancing away, buying some sick J's, and just having a great time. And finally, there is a new #1 contender for Bobby Roode's NXT Championship, which will be defended at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Yes, because it's before SummerSlam, innit? And that #1 contender was the winner of a match between Drew McIntyre and Killian Dane, otherwise known as Drew Galloway and Big Damo, if you're a fan of WCPW or other UK independent promotions. Actually, Galloway was everywhere. He was in like Evolve and stuff in the US. McIntyre won. Drew McIntyre is the new #1 contender for the NXT Championship. I fancy him to win. It would be a great story of redemption after he was in WWE, so much potential, Vince McMahon's chosen guy, then kind of got shifted into the three-man band eventually, essentially a comedy act, and then released. And then he's kind of just built himself up into this badass big man who can have awesome matches on the indie scene. Re-signed by WWE while WCPW champion. It was a bit awkward. It led to some kind of rushed booking meetings. But no, we got through it, Drew got through it, and he's now the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. Best of luck, Drew. He used my laptop one time. Have you heard about this? He used my laptop at a show. He needed to upload like a video to Twitter announcing some NXT tour. And like, he nearly left his password in for Twitter, so I could have just gone on and been like, oh, I'm Drew McIntyre. But I wasn't like, obviously I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Obviously I wouldn't. Now it's time for all the crazy news from the wacky world of pro wrestling outside of WWE. And this week it has been pretty crazy, both in ring and outside the ring as well. Can you wait? You don't have to. Let's get started right now. First of all, the first couple of shows in this year's G1 Climax have started, and there are 4 main talking points. I'm just going to rattle through them now. First of all, Zack Sabre Jr. made time. Oh, you don't want to hear spoilers, do you?
No, I've seen it.
Zack Sabre Jr. made I was going to just derail fast count because I would have to make you step out of the room. Zack Sabre Jr. made Tanahashi tap out. Massive result for Zack. Yes, Tanahashi had an injured arm. That was the deal. Like, Zack took advantage of his torn bicep. Tanahashi gave up though, which is huge. He's effectively the John Cena of New Japan. Second little piece of news from that first show, Tetsuya Naito and Kota Ibushi had a 4.75 star match, according to Dave Meltzer, where they just tried to destroy each other's necks. It was brutal. There was a second rope pile driver. There was a delayed German suplex off, like, while balanced on the ropes. There was loads of just landing on the neck. Ibushi and Naito went all out. Naito got the victory, and he is currently many people's favourite to win the whole tournament. Remember, these guys that I've mentioned that have lost, they're not out of the tournament. It's a round-robin format with 2 groups, and then 2 people will go through to the final. In the other show, which was only yesterday, what's he called? Kazuchika Okada, just the best wrestler in the world. And Toru Yano, who are stablemates in Chaos, had what I'm going to call the best comedy match in years. It was hilarious. Okada, of course, picked up the win. He is the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And finally, and I've lost the last bit from my mind, it was Omega and Suzuki. Kenny Omega and Minoru Suzuki had a match which wasn't one of Omega's best. There was a bit of interference from Suzuki Gun. Both guys weren't quite as good as they usually are. Kenny Omega is, of course, like top tier currently in the world. And because he just had a very good match rather than an amazing match, everyone's kind of going, okay. Still good, still worth a watch. Kenny picks up the victory. Suzuki still looked like a boss though. And yeah, everyone who should have won in the first round of the G1 Climax, in my opinion, has won. So that's very good booking indeed. Secondly, is going down over in Mexico / California. In AAA, one of Mexico's 2 biggest promotions, Vampiro is a key figure backstage. Now, you may have heard of some of these figures involved. Basically, there was almost like a screw job, but not like an in-ring screw job, but still a very screwy piece of booking. Johnny Mundo has been going off on Vampiro on Twitter, as have various others, including Ricochet, and I'll tell you why. Now, Taya Valkyrie, Johnny Mundo's real life and kayfabe wife, is currently the AAA Women's Champion. She was injured in a car crash and was unable to defend the belt, but they kept her as champion. Then Mundo was tricked into taking the belt down to AAA when she wasn't there and giving it to Vampiro and the booking lads because they needed it for promo shots. Then on the next show, they came out to the ring and effectively stripped her of the belt when she wasn't there. And then Sexy Star came out and won a match to win the title. Sexy Star, who retired from wrestling to become a female boxer, apparently it was a fake retirement, many say, because she didn't want to drop her tag belt in Triple H. It's just a crazy situation, and it could have serious ramifications in Lucha Underground, where kind of all of these people wrestle, including Vampiro, who is the commentator. Vampiro has been getting blasted on Twitter by a lot of people calling him a carny, calling him a liar, and he in turn has responded calling everyone else marks, everyone's favourite insult in wrestling. You've got to kind of side with Mundo here, haven't you? It looks like he's been bending to the whim of Sexy Star rather than doing what's right for business. And what's right as a person. He seems quite an unsound thing to do. Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry, I just, for our live stream to work, I need this thing.
I'm nearly done anyway.
I'll be two seconds.
2 seconds, yeah. That's just Plumpy in the background, interrupting fast count.
Just setting up one of our awesome live streams for the WhatCulture Extra subscribers.
Go away.
Happy to do it. It's great fast count so far, Jack.
Cheers, mate.
Doing a great job.
Thank you.
Just need this HDMI cable.
Right.
Then I'm out of your hair.
I'll just do the next point now. Ryback has been saying some very misogynistic things online.
Cheers,
right, cheers, mate. Thank you. Right, cool.
Thank you, man.
Gently. Right. Ryback has been saying some very misogynistic things online. He's been saying that women's wrestlers should be more sexy because none of them are doing it these days in WWE. And I quote, they should get on the top rope and shake their ass. Ryback, you silly, silly man. Ryback has since put out a tweet of him watching a Charlotte match and providing commentary where he goes, when she's getting on the top rope and he goes, don't you dare do an athletic move, Charlotte. Do you shake your ass, like kind of sarcastically healing it up as if he tries to make it seem like it's a work that he wants to get booked for. I think that's a bluff. I think he said his legitimate thoughts and then has tried to retract them on Twitter, and I don't think it's going to work. I think he's going to get in some serious shit for this. It might cost him future bookings. And finally, it's time for my Wrestler of the Week. This week, my Wrestler of the Week is New Japan's Kota Ibushi. Well, not really New Japan's Kota Ibushi. He is a weird free agent kind of dude in wrestling. We saw him in the Cruiserweight Classic. We've seen him in the G1 Climax before. And in this year's G1 Climax, he had the undisputed match of the week with Tetsuya Naito. It was awesome. Definitely check it out. Definitely watch it. That's the reason he's my Wrestler of the Week. It was a brilliant match. But my question to you is, what do you think of Kota Ibushi? Because if he wanted, he could go to WWE and probably be a pretty good kind of star over there. If he wanted, he could go to New Japan and be a boss. But instead, he likes to go to DDT Pro Wrestling, where I am a 2-time DDT Ironman Heavy Metalweight champion. Remember? And instead, he likes to wrestle in like forests or in an ice cream van. It's like a comedy promotion, essentially. And do you respect Ibushi's artistic integrity for just doing what he wants to do? Or do you think he should be making himself more of a global star in the world of wrestling? Because if he really got into New Japan and got some good storylines under his belt, I reckon he'd easily be on the same level as Okada and Omega, who at the minute I view as the 2 best wrestlers in the world. But what do you think? Regardless, I guess Ibushi is my Wrestler of the Week, but man, it's selfish of us as fans to say, but I just wish he'd do more things that are serious, you know? So that's it for the Fast Count. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. There's not much else to say, really. I'll see you soon.